All right, everybody, I've been mulling over this video for like the past 2 hours, and I think we'll be able to help a couple people with this video. How to have confidence. We got Mari in the building. It's going to be my first time watching Mari. I checked out a couple seconds of this and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a great video. We got Mari here to talk about building confidence, and I'm here to reinforce what she's saying and also give my own takes and opinions about being confident because I wasn't always the most confident person, but it always comes back to your boy. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this. How to have confidence.
Confidence is a weird thing. Most of us know it when we see it. However, it's also a highly misunderstood thing and often gets misrepresented. Hi, welcome to Mari Monday, where I answer
It's not
your
easy.
questions that are sent to my marshmallow. And the other day, I had someone ask me this: Mari, I have no confidence, and frankly, I have no reason to be confident, but every reason not to. But I don't want to be stuck like this forever. I think developing confidence would at least be a step in the right direction towards improving myself, but the problem is, I don't know how to go about developing confidence. What can I do to become more confident? And please don't give me advice like, just be confident, because everyone who tells me that has had a reason to be confident, but I don't. Now,
So before Mari goes ahead and spin off into this, I want to say one of the fastest way, it's not the easiest way, it definitely not, but one of the fastest ways to build confidence is find something that you don't want to do that you know will make you become better and do it. That is the simplest way. Whatever it is that's blocking, like if you want to make a song, you don't got to release the song, but make the song, right? You doing that will increase your confidence, and then it'll increase exponentially if you do end up releasing it. You don't got to release it under your actual name, right? You could have an alter ego, right? For a lot of people didn't know, Beyonce, before she was Beyonce, she had an alter ego that she used called Sasha Fierce. And this alter ego is what gave her the confidence to actually perform and sing, because Beyonce, right? The woman we see on stage in front of millions of people, she was actually introverted until she consumed this alter ego and added to the personality that we know is Beyonce. So yeah, that would be the fastest way to do it. And if anything, it'll be a good way to kickstart your way into more confidence in general. Let's continue.
now, before I explain what confidence is, I think it's a lot easier to explain what confidence is not. Because I hear this all the time. Like, oh, just have confidence, and even if you can't have confidence, then just fake it till you make it. But here's
Yeah, fake it till you make it. That's something everybody uses. A better word instead of using fake it till you make it is just believe and then become. So, whatever it is, whoever you are, right? If you're an artist, right? You have to say, I am an artist. And then you make art, right? You got to prove it to the world, but first you got to prove it to yourself. So, believe it and then become it. Don't fake it till you make it. Because if you're trying to fake something and then become that, well, that sounds like you didn't even believe that was you to begin with, which you can actually delude yourself into thinking you are something and become that, but that might not be the actual natural and healthy phase of your life that you will be going down.
Here's the thing, there is no making it. Confidence is not a mountain of gold that you just reach one day, after which, you'll just walk around being confident 100% of the time. Like, no, that's just not how it works. I feel like the whole faking it till you make it is kind of like a very overly simplified way on how you look at confidence. Not saying that it's terrible advice, but it's typically just, it is more on the generic side of advice where people will just say, this is what you got to do, but then they don't really explain how you do it.
It's just advice. Like she said, it isn't good advice. It's just advice. And when you have nothing, advice is better than not having it. So a lot of people that use this whole fake it till you make it, it's nothing wrong with that, but there's definitely way more better advice. But this type of advice is usually on like a higher level, like the generic advice. Just believe in yourself, fake it till you make it, right? But believe and then become, I think that's more powerful personally.
like a turn of a phrase, so to say. So, what does confidence actually mean? Well, I feel like confidence is not something that you just become. It's something that you feel and you experience once you learn more about yourself. For example, what do you like? What don't you like? What are you going to accept from others and how they treat you? What are you not going to accept from others and how they treat you? The more you understand yourself and what you represent, then the more confident you will become. And now you might be thinking,
I agree.
Okay, well, how does that make me more confident, Mari? I already know myself, except you
You don't.
don't. The person who is currently watching this video is different than the person you actually are. You say you have every reason not to be confident, and that tells me you're living in a false reality, Anon.
Absolutely.
Because who are you? Right now, you don't sound like the real you. This sounds like the fake you trying to make you have this false sense of reality, like you're not good enough. And I read up on a theory about this the other day that I'm
You know what that's called? It's something that we all have and we all use at all times. Even your boy uses it, even though I let these things become a part of me. They're called a social mask. These are things that you put on your face and you put on your personality and you put on your being as a way to fit into whatever certain scenario that you are in. And this happens all the time. It's subconscious, but if you become conscious and aware of it, you can absolutely use it to heighten whatever advantage it is. Like, say you show up to a party that you were invited to. Well, a way for you to actually make connections and networking is by going through the crowd, meeting people, talking to them, but you bounce off of their energy. Whatever they're giving you, you got to give it back to them, right? And this is another social mask. So just be aware of it and be conscious of it, because you can't just have that one mask that you think is you and expect other people to enjoy that, right? What you can, right? It like definitely, be yourself. That is always the greatest advice ever. Be yourself. That being said, if you do want to, expand and become even a greater version of yourself, well, you'll have to actually bounce this type of chemistry and energy off of other people, because that is how you grow and develop. Who you are now, you're a level 5 Pokemon and you're saying, I'm going to be myself. People are going to like me no matter what. And if they don't like me, I don't care, blase, blase. Well, prepare to stay in this level 5 form forever. If you do want to grow and become better, you will have to, learn and adapt to other people, because that's just how we are humans. We're social creatures.
going to share with you, and I hope that this helps you. So please take what resonates with you and leave the rest behind. And what I had read
That's some
was
real
that
stuff you just
right
said.
now, you are just built up from a bunch of different beliefs that either your parents, your friends, your
Yes.
boss, your teacher,
Yes.
society, all of that
Yes.
has installed into your mind. And everything
Absolutely.
that they had told you up until now is your reality. This is your reality. Or is it? Your whole
You can choose your reality.
life, your friends, family, teachers, and even loved ones have been straight up lying to you this entire time because
Oh, and that's the hard part. Like saying that somebody is lying to you about reality or your reality, it I don't think you can say that they're lying. I would say that, I mean, and honestly, like, some people aren't just conscious in general, right? So like, just because they're your parents does not mean that they are the most aware individual on the planet. To get like, again, what I just said earlier, you can choose your reality. Legitimately, it is a state of mind. Your being, your consciousness is a state of mind, and it comes and it goes, right? You heard the phrase, sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days. Well, in all honesty, it's all your perspective. Even if it's raining outside, some people can say, oh, it's raining, this sucks, I can't go outside. And then another person will see it's raining and be like, oh yes, it's raining, let's go out and enjoy the rain. It's all a state of mind and it's all a perception. So to try and teach that to a kid, good luck. And when it comes to like your boss in society in general, it's better off in society if you are set to a designated point of reality. You can't just have everybody out here, truly warping their mind and their reality, because then there will be less people actually working together as a group, right? We're social creatures. Everything that we enjoy in this life was because humans came together and worked together as a team. There's not one person on this planet that was able to create all this stuff by themselves. So normally and naturally, right, we try and fit ourself, or we're fit inside of a mold, right? Whatever mold that is, right? So, and sometimes it can be forced upon you, right? How many times have you heard somebody say, oh yeah, my parents want me to marry a lawyer or a doctor, or they want me to be a lawyer or a doctor, or they will be disappointed in me, right? You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to go into these fields that you don't want to go in, but society and the pressure, you feel like you have to. And all honestly, you don't have to. And I'm not saying it's easy to ignore these things, right? If you have some type of outside pressure, especially if it's family that is pressuring you into a career, right? Even if the career is absolutely amazing, like yeah, doctors are important. They're important to all of society. Lawyers are important. They're important to society, right? These jobs are important. But if you really feel like that you want to be a painter, go paint. If that's what you feel in your being, that is what you are designed to do. This is who you feel like you're the next Pablo Picasso. Well, I would advise you to go follow it, but not everybody can slash will follow that. You feel what I'm saying? There are some people out here that are actual individuals that think for themselves and do as they please. That's not all of humanity. So try and remember that. And you got to figure out where you are, right? Some people are even better off just being like workers, legitimately. Like it's easier for some people to just clock in, get told what to do, clock out, catch, and then get a check versus other people like me who have to actually write the checks, who has to come up with the funds so they can have other people do some type of job, right? And it's not for everybody. Some people cannot be the boss. I mean, just look at school. Look at the group projects. Who were you during the school group project? Were you the kid that just slacked off and let everybody else do the work? Or were you the one that had to bust your ass because the other people were slacking off? Those are like telling signs of what you will be whenever you grow up. Let's continue. This is a great video.
Think about it. Are you this really lazy, inconsiderate, unconfident person everyone else made you out to be? You're saying you have every reason not to be confident, but who gave you those reasons? Is that really the
Yourself.
stuff that you truly believe, or is that just what everyone else taught you to believe? These thoughts running through your mind are not your thoughts. They are other people's thoughts clouding your mind. They want to keep you from the truth, from you, and make you constantly run away from reality because here's the thing. You and your reality are just the result of what you have accepted as the truth. And the actual truth that everyone is trying to keep away from you from realizing is that there is no self. Like, there's no definition of like who you are as a person other than what you define yourself. Because in reality, there is no such thing as like self. Beauty standards, shitty corpo jobs.
And the crazy part is, bro, she is 100% right. Everything I literally just said was said to you by a anime girl. Yeah, and I hope it's hitting, right? I'm saying it, then she's saying it, or she's saying it, and then I'm reinforcing it. What we are saying together is absolutely true. And it's just up to you to believe whether it's true or not. I can show you the door. It's up to you to walk through it, as Morpheus said from The Matrix.
Jobs, unjustful social interactions, all of this is shaped by the reality that we accepted as the truth. And a lot of this is more subconscious too, but what's
Yes,
amazing
again, I
about
said that
this
earlier.
concept that I had read about is that once you understand and accept that there is no such thing as like a self, then you can change your reality and become the person you were always meant to be. And that sounds like a bunch of
But
mumbo jumbo.
that's also the hard part because who do you want to be? That takes self-reflection, that takes introspection, right? Meditation, education, and honestly finding people that you resonate with and asking them what are their opinions, taking those opinions and then putting it towards yourself. That'll be one of the key foundations into figuring out who you really are. There's those are those five things that can legitimately help you. And will it be easy? Absolutely not. And for me personally, I am always changing as a human being. I'm always striving for the next thing that not necessarily mean it's a tangible thing. It's usually something that's within inside myself, which is also difficult because whenever you start leveling up, you also have to sit back and reflect on the levels that you have progressed on, which also takes more time and more introspection and more reflection. These things are not easy to do, but I think to be outright simple, how to have more confidence, you start leveling up and then you build the confidence, basically.
Spiritual, whatever stuff, but it's actually very interesting when you kind of take a
It's
moment to
multiple
like
things.
think about what
Yeah, it's spiritual, but it's also scientific. It's both.
a self is. I'm sure you probably have heard of the phrase, I think, therefore I am, and that whole like
Yes.
concept of like, if I think, then I must exist. But how your reality is and your perspective is very different from how other
Yes,
people perceive you and what their
100%.
reality is around. And the only
Yes.
real way we can like make sure that we actually exist is leaving some kind of trail in some way, whether that's a paper trail, a digital trail, an offspring trail, a
Usually,
flesh trail, so to say. You don't become confident. You represent confidence because you are
you
confident.
are
This is
confidence.
not the
Yes,
same
it's
as
who
faking
you
it until
are.
you make it, by the way.
No, it's
Although for
believing and
some people,
becoming.
that phrase can be helpful to understand this concept of
Yeah, it makes it easy.
self, even though like self isn't really like a thing. But basically, confidence is just a state of mind, just like
Yes,
happiness, sadness,
yes,
anger,
yes,
and
yes,
you can attain it by
yes.
understanding
It
yourself,
comes and it
like your
goes.
triggers, what
Yes,
you want in life, pretty much getting more clarity on what your goals and wishes are, and making sure that these are things you actually want and not just stuff that people have been telling you all your life on what you should be. Because there is no such thing as a self, right? You don't need to be this somebody that everyone else is telling you to be. You can be what you want to be. I'm
and that's
telling
the
you,
hard
Anon,
part.
to shift your
And that's the hard part. What she just said, that is the hard part. Trying to figure that out for yourself, the person watching this video. That is the hard part. Everything else will come in time. You just need to figure that part out.
perspective a little bit on your thoughts and your behaviors and becoming more observant of what is causing these thoughts and behaviors to happen. Because right now, it doesn't sound like your thoughts and behaviors are serving you in any way, shape, or form. In
True.
fact, it's hindering you from living a
That's what it
life
sounds
that
like.
would be more fulfilling. It's like
Mm,
you're not allowing yourself to live the life that you deserve to live because somebody else told you to. And
yes.
you don't need to have your life be controlled by others. You can control your own life. And a really good way to start doing this and kind of shifting your perspective a little bit is to start out small by acknowledging and celebrating the wins that you have in life,
Yes.
which
Every win, by the way. If you woke up this morning, nigga, you winning. That's 2 Chainz said that shit. And that's real. If you woke up today, bro, you are absolutely winning. If you got up and got out of bed and you went to work and then you came home, bro, you won. You're not dead. Death is not here, so you are alive. Congratulations. That is a win. If you went to go get a coffee, right? And nobody else was in line and you were the first one to get a coffee. Boom, that is a win. Celebrate that. Celebrate the little things, the micro things. A lot of people get caught up in trying to chase the next big achievement. Little do you know, bro, you're winning all the time. And it's just up to you to acknowledge those wins, right? That's why I have this watch. It's a fitness watch. Every time I take 6,000 steps, it'll beep, you took 6,000 steps. And you know what I do? I go like this. Woo! Every time, no matter where I am, no matter what, I will celebrate that little win because that is how you build the confidence. These little bitty things will create a bigger and stronger version of yourself. You just got to believe it.
I know can be really hard to figure out. It's not easy, especially when you've been told your whole life that you're either not good enough or that you could have done a better job or something as like, oh, like this isn't what I wanted. But something that I kind of learned when I was going through my whole journey this year is that it's not your job to make someone else feel better about their perception of you.
Yeah, that's some real
Because
shit.
you can't change someone's perspective of you. People are gonna feel a certain way, and it's not your job to change that. The only thing that you can control is how you react towards what they're saying and doing and
Yes.
reacting
And
to
that's all
however
you
it is
can
you're
do.
feeling. You can control
That
the
is all
things
you
that are
can do.
happening to you. You can't control things
Yes.
that are happening to others. And with that being said, other people cannot control you. They don't have it's not their life, it's your life. I remember when I first read about this and it was really difficult for me to understand how self doesn't exist and that I'm a
Yeah, it's not
nobody
easy.
when
Yeah,
everybody
it's not
wants to be
easy.
a somebody and blah, 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 blah. Here's an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
example that might help you understand this concept a bit better because this is how I started having more confidence personally. I have always been yelled at for every little thing I do growing up because everyone around me just couldn't understand my logic for doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And because they couldn't understand it, they would just get angry and tell me I'm wrong. Everything
Yeah.
that I'm
Because they don't understand it. It's something different. Therefore, it must be wrong. And it is wrong in their eyes, but that should not change the perception of how you do things because only you know what is up here. Nobody else does. So even whatever you're doing, even if you logically thought it out, unless you can verbally interpret it, People aren't going to understand. And you know what the best part is? Even if you verbally interpret whatever it is that was up here, it still probably will not make sense to them. So if it will not make sense, no matter how much you try and interpret it or exchange it or translate it, why let it phase you when they don't understand you? They aren't going to understand you. If they try to understand you, that's big. That is important. Did you guys just see that dove that flew behind me? That's awesome, right? That's very beautiful, right? Acknowledge these little things that are always happening. I think that's also important. Acknowledge things that are happening around you because things are always happening around you. So, yes, at the end of the day, remember this, they won't understand. So, don't be upset when they don't understand.
I'm doing is wrong and I'm stupid and I shouldn't be doing or saying things that I clearly don't understand and all this like other stuff, like constantly just micromanaging every little thing that I do. It's actually kind of crazy to think about, like they spent a lot of their life worrying about what it is that I was doing with my own life. Like it's kind
That's
of
crazy,
crazy. And
right?
for the longest
Yeah,
time
that
of
is
my
crazy.
life, I really believed all these things that people would tell me.
Of
And every
course,
time I would
you're
start to
young,
do something, I would start second guessing myself. And like
and that's
even
the bad part,
now, I still sometimes second guess myself.
which is
I
normal.
really struggle with making a decision on something because I'm sitting here thinking, is this the right thing? Are people going to like this? Like if I didn't get an overwhelmingly positive response, then I would just assume that people didn't like it. And then I would just start being really mean to myself and insulting myself by
And that's the hard part. You know why she's doing that? You know, whenever you have like some type of decision, whether big or small, like maybe you wanna order a sandwich or you wanna order a burger, right? Or you wanna order this type of thing or that type of thing, and you're just thinking, and you're like, but you have this feeling like, oh, maybe I should go with this. But it's like, well, I do want this though, right? Whatever it is that you initially went for and you feel it, especially like if you started to do it and then you're feeling like, right? That's that feeling. That is your inner you, right? Some people call it a soul, some people say it's your subconscious, some people say it's a whole bunch of things. Regardless, the fact is we all have this type of feeling. No matter what type of word you want to put on it, no matter what the name is, you have it. I have it. She has it. We all have it, right? This is something that we need to acknowledge and actually follow. This feeling that's not up here, right? Because there's some, of course, there's impulse. Like people sometimes don't have the right impulse control. They just start doing shit, right? They just do this, do this, do this, right? And then it's because they're not thinking as well. But when you're thinking and then you're trying to figure it out, that's when it comes to the inside. And when she said she would beat herself up because she didn't listen, right? She didn't listen to this. She ignored this and then she thought, "Oh, this is the problem. Me, I'm the problem." It's like, "No, it's you're not the problem. It's just other people didn't understand whatever it was that was going through your head or your subconscious or whatever. You didn't know. And so now you're feeling bad and you're trying to figure out what to blame it on. In all honestly, it's not something that you need to really put blame towards. Like, yeah, it's okay to feel bad, but don't beat yourself up because at the end of the day, you only know you. Nobody else know who you are. You know yourself best, bro. You're the only one that knows you. Especially when you start taking time to get to know yourself. Then people really don't know who you are. But as long as you know who you are or you think you know who you are and you're going to terms to try and figure out who you are. I mean, the best way to do that, bro, is get one of these, a journal. Get a journal and start writing down whatever's in here, write it down in here. Whatever's in here, write it down in here. And whenever you go back and you read this stuff, you will actually have some type of emotional feeling because this is a moment in time that you captured on a piece of paper. Especially if you're writing down something very personal, right? This is why diary like when growing up, I'm like diaries are so dumb. Diaries are one of the greatest things ever because it puts your essence into a piece of paper that you can go back and you can look at and you can reflect on and you can see how much you have grown. Literally, you can track how much you have grown from one day to the next. And every day we're growing. Some people aren't. Some people are staying stagnant. But every day I grow. The person that I was even this morning is not the same person I am this afternoon. And I won't be the same person this evening, right? Especially after this video goes up. We're always changing, we're always progressing, but it's always up to you, the individual, to actually realize and understand that, hey, I am becoming better. I am becoming different. right? You have to be able to observe your thoughts, observe your consciousness. And these are things that are being trained and taught. And a lot of people might say it's mumbo jumbo, but okay, you have a low consciousness. That doesn't affect me whatsoever, bro. Like, get your consciousness up and then you would agree. And it's that simple. And I'm not even at the top of what it is that we call consciousness, right? Because as humans, we don't even know what this is. Even though many a people, many a monk, many a whatever have tried to figure this out and they've gone through their lives trying to figure it out. Guess what? A lot of them have written it down in books. So if you can read it and you can understand it and you can interpret it and you can figure it out, boom, you just set yourself on a fast track to becoming the best version of yourself. And that's some free game. You're welcome. Let's continue. This is a great
saying
video.
the exact same things that I always heard growing up, like how I'm stupid and how I can't do anything right and how, like, why can't I just be normal? Like, I used to say these
Why
things
would you want to be
all the
normal?
time. And here's the thing about that. Remember what I said a moment ago that those people couldn't understand my logic and therefore they got mad and started yelling at me? Well, what if, like, everything that I had done wasn't actually wrong? Maybe the
It
stuff that I
wasn't.
did was right. I would get the
It
same results
was.
as other people, but the methods in which I would get those results was what people couldn't understand
And
and
that's
they didn't
okay.
like it. So just
And
because
that's
I
okay.
did things differently than most people, they didn't like it. They had a problem with that. It bothered them so much that they went out of their way to put me down. And
And that's some crazy stuff, bro. I'll give you guys a quick story about your boy KhunShawn. So back in what, let's say fourth grade, we all got a piece of paper and it was a little girl on a swing set. Let me know if you guys remember this because maybe it was in your school as well, right? At public education, I'm pretty sure they share a lot of the same things. Anyways, so we got a piece of a picture, right? It was a girl. She was sitting on a swing set, and then like you just had to fill in the colors, right? And you just had to read what it said, and then you fill in the colors, right? So I remember specifically, and I decided I'm going to be different, right? It said her dress was the same color as the sky. So guess what everybody colored in on the dress? Obviously blue, right? The sky is blue. Not all the time. So guess what your boy KhunShawn did? I made her dress look like the sunset. And I drew the sunset in the sky. And you know what the teacher did? She said, "Why did you do this? Why did you make it colorful? Everybody else did blue." Well, they said it was the sky, and the sky isn't always blue. So I decided to think outside the box and make it colorful. And I even made the sky colorful. You know what she did? Everybody else got A's. Everybody else got a 100. Guess what I got? I got a B. I got a B. You know what a B is? A B is average. I got an average score for thinking differently than other people in the public education system. Crazy how that shit worked, right? Hey, it is what it is, but that lets you know not everybody's going to, acknowledge that you're able to think outside the box. They would rather put you in a box than you be outside of that bitch. So remember that. Think about that. And you probably had some other experience like that where you decided, hey, I'm going to do this because I think this would be better or will be more creative, and it was shunned or frowned upon. Hey, remember that and let it fuel you to become more different, to become who you really are. Let's continue this video.
this set me up to have unrealistic expectations of myself, trying to live a life with what I thought others were expecting of me. And the truth is, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what people really want from me unless if they communicate
100%.
that for me. And the same could be said for you, Anon. Like, you don't know what other people want if they don't tell you that. And
True.
even if that's the case, you're still not obligated to meet that expectation. What
That's
matters
also
at the end
true.
of the day is the expectations that you
You have
want
for
and how
yourself.
you can go out to set those expectations for yourself. Because again, you can't control anybody and no one can control you. For the longest
There
time,
it
I
is.
felt unappreciated because I'm constantly just living in fear, trying to guess what other people want from me. And once I started
Bro, I love hearing like whenever people are doing videos, bro, like you just hear the cars in the background, right? They live next to a street or something. They be racing or something.
recognizing that
It reminds me living back in America. I would always have like motorcycles literally like speeding down the road and you just be you just hear all that. It's always fun.
this pattern of behavior and how just unhelpful these thoughts were, and that these thoughts aren't actually what I truly believed about myself. Well,
It's just what
that's when
people
I
force
started being
upon
able to
you.
notice my like small wins. And what really helped me to start doing this was journaling. This year, I started journaling
Yes.
everything I did. And I
Yes.
remember, like, I really started getting into this more back
Literally.
in July. And every
Told
time I
you.
would accomplish something, I would highlight it in my journal and constantly
Yes.
refer back to it anytime I started thinking negatively about myself until one day I realized something. I don't owe anyone anything except for myself because there
Absolutely.
is no self, right? I've gotten this far in my life through my own hard work and accomplishments, and looking back on my notes, I have actually accomplished a lot. And I don't need other people telling me what to do, how to do, how to be,
Damn right.
because I can make that decision for myself.
You
I'm
sure
I'm
can.
not a vegetable on the bed, like laying there and can't form my own thought. Like, I can choose what I want to be. And anyone who has a problem with how I go about living my life and how I carry myself, well, that is their own problem. That is something that they have to deal with. It is not my
Absolutely.
responsibility
Worry about yourself.
or my problem to deal with other people's problems. Like, unless if I'm being paid to problem solve something, then I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to
Ain't that right, sis?
focus on any of that
We
kind of
need the
stuff, right? Because that's not my
bag.
job. It's not something that I need to fix or even give any extra attention to. That is what confidence represents to me. A confident
100%.
person is someone who does not let anyone prevent them from living their life as their own authentic person and doesn't let anyone else define who they are.
And
This
that's
is
why
the
it's not
reality
easy.
that I
And that is a pretty good interpretation of what confidence is, because I wouldn't even say that is what confidence is. That is what confidence is to her. And I would say that's a pretty good, accurate representation.
believe in. So went on, I think the better question that you should be asking yourself is, what does confidence mean to you? However you define confidence will be based on your
It'll
own
be
personal
showed. It will be
experiences, your own
showed.
upbringing, and you have every right to be the person you were meant to be and want to be. And again, start by celebrating your small wins. I know it's hard to kind of see what those good, positive qualities are. And I know some people like to
You got
say,
to
oh, you
find it,
should ask
homie.
other people what your good, positive qualities are. If that does help you,
It can
maybe
help.
that can be something that you write down, like asking people what are some good things
It can
about yourself,
help.
like what are things that they like about you, and then you write that stuff down and kind of like keep track on
You also got to agree with it, right? So if they say, "Oh, I like you because you're smart," well, if you don't think you're smart, that obviously is not going to resonate with you. But whatever it is that they say about you, legitimately, like she said, write it down, and then you sit back and you sit and you think about, do I exhibit this quality? And if it's a yes, then yeah, you could start moving in that direction. And if you don't agree, well, then people are looking at you from a different type of lens. And maybe you should look at it, or maybe they were just bullshitting you when they said that. Maybe they don't really like you for that, or they don't like you at all. And they decided to say that's not hurt your feelings, right? At the end of the day, you got to figure it out for yourself. Again, the introspection, the meditation, and there's several guides and several steps, right? And I'm not the one to just, oh, you should, like, I can only tell you what I've done, right? And as you can see, your boy living life and living lavish, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's always going to be different for the individual. Everybody's going to have a different version and a different experience and a different perspective and perception of whoever they are, and you just got to figure out what works for you. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, change it. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
yourself on what it is you're doing and thinking. Every time you start to think about a negative thought, write that down so that way you can kind of look at it and ask yourself, is this really how I feel? Or
Is
is
it?
this because maybe at some
It's
point
in
in
your
my
head.
life, this is what someone told me and it made
Yeah.
me feel bad? Once you start to realize that, like, a lot of these feelings that you're feeling are coming from just being told, like, things that are just not true, it helps for you to let those feelings go and to move on in the sense of like saying, hey, that really sucked, but that's not who I am as a person and it doesn't define me who I am as a person. A confident person will talk to themselves with confidence and not let other people's negative perspective filter their view on themselves as a person. One suggestion I have for you is to start talking to yourself more positively. Like,
Yes.
I literally want you to
Absolutely.
go into the mirror.
And that's the tough one, boy. Oh, the KhunShawn has done this one. Like, you sit in the mirror, you talk to yourself legitimately. This is a tough one. And of course, you're crazy. You talk to yourself in the mirror. Okay, well, you're a fucking bot. So who cares what you think, right? Definitely go to that mirror, talk to yourself legitimately, and talk to yourself positively. Like, look at yourself in the eyes, in the iris, look at your reflection in your iris, and look at yourself from a different point of view. And you say to yourself, who am I? And then you'll start feeling something. And whatever it is that you're feeling, just say that shit out loud. So whenever I looked in the mirror, I said, "Who am I?" I said, "Confident." Why am I confident? Because I care. Why do I care? Because it'll make the world better. Do you want to make the world better? Yes. Why? Because I care. Boom. It's a circle. It's a cycle. I care. I want to make the world better. Why? Because I care. And it's as simple as that. Point blank, period. And then, of course, you can go deeper than that. You can start asking numerous amounts of questions like, oh, do I have any regrets? No. Why not? Because I've already accepted the issues that I've had in my past. Boom. There it is. And that's just me. This is me like just being real with you, like on some real shit. I just did it for you, right? Whenever you do this, you probably gonna have some negative stuff to say. And guess what? That's something you got to figure out with yourself, homie. And it's okay because I did used to have regrets. I did used to hate myself. I did used to have trauma, right? And of course, I still have trauma. Like we all have trauma, right? We can't get rid of everything. Getting rid of absolutely everything isn't. It's possible for a super small amount of people, but it could be possible for you. But how would you know if you don't even try? Crazy, right? Give it a shot. Talk to yourself in the mirror. You never know. You might come out a better person in the end.
Look at yourself and say, like, you got this. If that starts to help you, I want you to say things like, you got this. I believe in myself. I am confident in my abilities. I am enough. I always
You
try
just
my
gotta believe
best.
it.
I am confident.
You
This
gotta
can
believe it.
be your reality,
Yeah,
but you have to let
affirmations.
go
You
of
gotta
this
believe it.
self that's been holding you back all these years, because you are allowed to exist as a confident person, and no one will ever take that away from you unless if you give them that
Unless you let
power.
them.
So
Yes,
don't give
exactly.
people the power to define who you are as a person. You have the power to define who you are as a person. I hope
100%.
that answers your question, Anon, and
Yeah.
this video can be the start of your journey to becoming the person you were always meant to be. You do
Yeah.
have a reason to
100% it can
become
be.
confident, and start off with acknowledging the fact that you do have good qualities about yourself. Thanks for tuning in for
That's
this
real.
week's Mari Monday, and please feel free to submit a
W.
question for future video. And lastly, I want you to remember that everything will remind you of something. Bye!
Everything will remind you of something. No, that's pretty good. Everything will remind you of something. Yeah, no, that's real. I'm gonna go ahead and hit Mari with a sub, bro. Like, definitely. Like, I'm glad I stumbled upon this video because she was definitely cooking, and I was too. And I hope that actually helped you because I mean, honestly, to be quite honest with you guys, like transparent, 100%, bro. I do this shit because I want to make the world a better place legitimately. And I think this is the best way to do it. Just sit here and say my inner thoughts out loud because my inner thoughts are more positive because I've already fixed a lot of stuff wrong with me. And if I can help fix a lot of stuff with other people, or at least be that initial push that'll make you start walking in the right steps to become better people, well, I think that's a win because there's a lot of bad shit out here in the world. And it takes more than just one person to fix it. You got to have more people working together as a team. I mean, this is humanity at the end of the day. There are a lot of bad people that are in positions of power, but they only win if you give up, if you don't have hope, if you choose to surrender and you forget who you really are, or if you never knew who you are from the first place because the school system was designed to put you in a box anyway. Let it sink in. Anyways, it's your boy KhunShawn. If you guys enjoy, hit the like button. If you want more of this, you already know what to do, man. Leave a comment and subscribe. And hey, join the Discord link down below. Drop your videos. I'm trying to get, there's definitely a balance with this channel, right? I do like entertaining as well, right? I like helping you guys and, giving you guys some deep stuff, but I also like giving you guys a hee hee ha ha. So there's hee hee ha ha on here. And then there's some deep introspective type of videos, right? I have motivational videos as well. And like I said, man, life is a never ending journey, right? This, like, my whole goal is become the best version of myself, and that is a road that is never finished. The road will continue to go until I finally close my eyes for the last time. And until then, your boy will keep sharing with you the journey that is my life. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Shout out to Mari. This was a great video.